that, but what I have is I have a function that'll reset the stack. It'll reset the arguments to what we want, because what we're going to do is just increment all the 3 arguments that are in this function and determine what the return value will be. So we also hook the return mnemonic so that we can trigger our other functions and reset the stack. And you'll see I call reset stack, set mnemonic handler, and then we'll execute a count number of times. And as we just emulate, the provided arguments are on the left, and the equals is what EAX is going to return. So for any simple obfuscation or cryptography or things of that nature, anytime something takes arguments and returns a value based on those arguments that you can tell is pretty dependent, it might be a good way to just get an idea of what exactly is going on, when you look at the function. So to wrap up a bit, PyEmu is just another tool in the reverse engineering toolbox. It's viable in reverse engineering. I think it can be used in many different situations, not only reverse engineering, but exploit development, vulnerability analysis, things of that nature. And scripting languages will be everywhere in the future. Any good tool that coming out should have an exposed API or exposed methods to get at different internal information. And open extensible code can be modified and expanded by anybody. I've tried to make it, like I said earlier, real verbose and not very optimized so that you can get in there first time you look at it and just get at modifying what, to do whatever you want it to do. Some limitations. Manual interaction is still required. You saw we had to set up some different variables. I think that's necessary. I don't think anybody will be able to really solve that without maybe live debugging or live analysis. Lack of peripheral emulation. You can't run World of Warcraft on it. It won't create a video card interface for you. I need to have better library emulation. I have in the works, or that are already in there, a lot of the basic, Win32 ones like alloc and receive and things like that. But I'd like to have a comprehensive set. And I think with having a more open, platform like PyEmu is in Python, it'll be easier for other people to add and then contribute and whatnot. So lower level OS emulation, it'd be nice. And more supported instruction sets. And I say instruction sets meaning, ARM, MIPS, things of that nature, for those other people that aren't just x86 specific. So let's go ahead and just, any questions people might have? None? Charlie? I do have thread support in there. I don't have library hooks for the create thread or anything like that, but I do keep Win32 specific information. I have the teb, the tib, the peb. I have, the descriptor tables and things like that. So adding a hook for create thread, it wouldn't be very hard. And I also store inside of an OS object, I store all the information for each thread, and I store a list of all the threads. So it'd be very simple to just hook it, create a new thread, and carry on. Anybody else?
You said that for the time being it's kind of a Windows-only tool. Because I don't see any kind of airflow there, and there's no emulation for int.
I have I have int3. I can add things like that. I have one for just there's an instruction just int and then interrupt a vector, and it would be super easy to add. The thing is, I don't have an elf parser in Python. And I didn't necessarily look very hard, but if there is one out there, or somebody else decides to create one, it would be very easy to just move it to Linux. Any more? No? So just a couple of references I mentioned throughout the history and whatnot. I wanted to thank some people. I gave them all nicknames. I don't know if they'll like their nicknames, but they have them. So, Nemo from Feline Menace helped me a lot. Mark Eisenbarth helped me a lot and helped me with the initial stuff. And then the other people on my team, Cameron, Mark, Pedram, or Cameron, Aaron, Pedram, and then whatnot. So here's where you can get the code. It's the longest URL I've ever seen, but it'll be on the BlackHat site. It'll be on, various other sites. So you can always email me to get, the best URL if you don't want to type this out. But like I said, this is just my ploy to get you to go to OpenRCE. And, there it is. So that's it.